Look, it is scary to be vulnerable in life, and we've been trained. And this goes back, remember, I was talking earlier about age and generation. And so I have empathy depending on your age or depending on where you grew up or how you grew up or how you were trained and raised as a leader. There was a school of thought for many, many years. It still exists, but it's less prevalent. This notion of, never let them see you sweat and always have the right answer and never show any kind of. And I think what we're learning, I mean, there's a lot of great work out there, like the great work of Dr. Brene Brown and others who've been teaching us through research and experience, like, wait a minute, there's actually a ton of research that shows the best determining factor of courage is vulnerability. And if we're going to build trust with other humans, we got to be vulnerable. If we're going to be innovative and creative, we got to be willing to take risks. That's all vulnerability. If groups are going to have psychological safety as a team. And so I love actually Brene Brown's definition of vulnerability. She says that it's risk, emotional exposure, and uncertainty. You think about those things, risk, emotional exposure, uncertainty, they're not comfortable. They're not enjoyable. They're just part of life, part of business, part of leadership, part of everything that we do that really matters requires one, two, or all three of those things. And so, look, you can be a really private person. You don't have to share about your life and your family. And, that's fine if you do. And some people do. Some people are open books. Other people are just very private and don't want to talk about that stuff. But you can still be vulnerable because vulnerability, like an example, we're talking about self-righteousness. What if you as a leader started to notice, oh, I have these things, I do these things where I can be self-righteous or I can shut people down. I don't mean to. I want to work on that. Well, what's a great way to work on it? Maybe tell your team, hey, I'm working on this. Could you help me? Could you point it out? If you're on the receiving end of my self-righteousness, could you let me know either in the moment or after the fact so that I can have more awareness about it so that I don't do it? You have to be courageous enough and vulnerable enough to let people know, hey, I'm struggling with this or I'm working on this. Could you help me? And that is a risk, but ultimately there's such a benefit to that if we're willing to go there.